and we will start with your favorite prop for any Rams player on the board, courtesy of Caesars, Wilson.
Yeah, usually we talk about first touchdown scored or anytime touchdown scored. This prop caught my attention because I haven't seen it before, and I love it. Cooper Kupp, last touchdown scorer.
Any last touchdown, not just Rams last touchdown.
That's right. The last plus 475.
Ooh.
So here's the thinking, and Breach knows this better than anyone. The Bengals might fall behind, but they have been known to come back in these playoff games. They might be ahead late, and we know that Matthew Stafford, as you pointed out early in the show, leans on Cooper Kupp to the point that he knows what he eats for breakfast. That will be his connection on that final drive, and there's a very plus 475 for the last touchdown score to win the game or whatever. Give me Cooper Kupp.
Wilson, I like the value there. Because my prop doesn't have a ton of value, but I love it. And it is over 1/2 interceptions for Matthew Stafford. It is negative 145. Like I said, not fantastic value.
He just needs to throw one interception.
He throws one interception, and this hits. And Brenton, look, I hate to take the Hall of Fame away from your boy Matthew Stafford.
I like the vote.
But look,
the bet.
You see what Stafford has done. He's thrown 9 interceptions in their past 7 games. That would be 10 if Ryan's boy Jaquiski Tart had not dropped the easiest interception of his life in the fourth quarter of the NFC title game. The Rams might not even be in the Super Bowl if he catches that interception. And so, we've talked a lot about how if you get pressure on Matthew Stafford without blitzing him, he has a lot of trouble. The Bengals have a guy who had the 5th most sacks in the NFL this year in Trey Hendrickson. And so I think the Bengals can get some pressure on him. I think we'll see at least one interception from Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad bet. The juice has gone up on that. I mean, Stafford is an aggressive quarterback who's not afraid to throw the ball into tight windows, and that can lead interceptions, tip passes, and the Bengals do have in Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson some decent pass rushers that can get home. I mean, that's going to be sounds stupid, but it's like, whoever wins the battle in the trenches is going to win this game. I'm going to take Cam Akers under rush yards 63.5. That's not a knock on Cam Akers. I also think Cam Akers under carries, I think it's at 16.5, is a pretty good look as well. Basically, Akers we saw, and R.J. White pointed this out on the Pick Six podcast show that came out Monday, the podcast edition. We talked about Sportsline's Ultimate Gambling Guide. You can get that on CBSSports.com for free. Definitely worth a download of that PDF. But I think when you look at this, we saw Akers fumble twice against the Buccaneers, and then we saw his snap count drop dramatically. It is entirely possible. It's also possible, by the way, that Darrell Henderson is coming back, which I didn't realize until RJ told me that. If Henderson comes back, and you have Sony Michel involved too, and the Rams are worried about salting the game away with the guy who fumbled twice against the Bucs, I think maybe it's more Sony Michel late in this game. Additionally, if the Rams are trailing the Bengals, you're not going to see a ton of Cam Akers rush yards. So or rushing attempts. I like the under on that rush yard total for Cam Akers.
And he's only 7 months removed from a torn Achilles.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like Sean McVay wants to go out there and give him 25 carries.
What about a best Rams team prop, Wilson? Any Rams team prop on the board at Caesars? What do you think?
I saw this one. This was as clear as day. This is a layup all day long. Rams, the first team to call a timeout, minus 115. I mean, we saw in the championship game
free money
that Sean McVay values timeouts as I don't know if you're the analogy guy, but he does not value timeouts very much, to the point that he burned through 2 early in the second half, I believe, and they could have used those timeouts as time dwindled down. So I think it's reasonable and actually feel really good about it, Breach, that minus 115, as you point out, that feels like stealing.
Yeah, Sean McVay values timeouts like my toddler values graham crackers. Like, she just throws them off her tower. She doesn't care because she knows she'll get more in the second half, and that's what McVay gets. He burns those first half timeouts. Mine is that the Rams throw the first interception of the game. So if Matthew Stafford throws them before Joe Burrow, maybe they run a trick play and Odell Beckham throws an interception.
Oh.
That is even money. I just feel like the Rams have more pressure on them. So, and as you said, Matthew Stafford's an aggressive quarterback. I think he might try and make a statement early with a couple deep throws. And the Bengals have good safeties. They have good corners. It just feels like that. I think the Bengals get the first pick, and if they do, you win your even money bet.
I love that you're bets, your picks in this Super Bowl are all funneling in like a wish casting kind of way,
100%.
designed to have you ultimately end up with the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. I'm going to take the Rams minus a half a point in the first quarter. I think it's an excellent bet. If you're going to bet the Bengals on the quarter, I think the third quarter is the best one because they adjust at halftime. But the Rams come out a little bit hotter, scripted plays. I think the Bengals will be a little more conservative with their offense, and we saw them run a lot on first down, like the Rams minus half a point in the first quarter. What about a Rams first touchdown scorer, Wilson?
So I had as the last touchdown scorer in the game, I went with Cooper Kupp. First touchdown Rams scorer, I'm going with Cam Akers. We've talked about him here, how he came back so fast from the Achilles injury, how he got worked immediately from the moment he returned. He did have some fumbling issues in that Buccaneers game. I suspect those will be behind him because he won't be playing otherwise. You mentioned Darrell Henderson potentially coming back as well. But if they get inside the 5-yard line, don't forget, he scored a touchdown in that 49ers playoff game, and he dropped the ball to the 1-yard line. So once he gets inside the 5, he's a good bet to get into the end zone. It's just a matter of the Rams getting there, and to Brentz's last bet, he feels like they're going to do that early. And then once they get there, Akers, fingers crossed, holds onto the football.
Hey, Wilson, I like that, but I like mine more. And that Rams' first touchdown for me is Odell Beckham. He's at plus 500. You are getting 5-1 odds on Odell possibly scoring the first touchdown. He has been on fire during the postseason. It looks like he's figured out the Rams offense. He knows where to be. He knows what routes to run. Everything's clicking for him. And the other part is, if the Rams get down to the red zone, the Bengals are going to turn all their attention to Cooper Kupp. They're going to quadruple team him. They're going to make sure Cooper Kupp does not beat them. And so that's going to leave the door wide open for Odell to make some big plays, and I won't be surprised if he ends up being the first one in the end zone for the Rams.
It doesn't matter. There's no other choice on this board other than Cooper Kupp. You eliminate all other. You eliminate the Bengals. Right? This is just first Rams touchdown, and I thought Cooper Kupp was going to be like minus 225, and I was going to lay a bunch of juice and look like a chalky donkey. But you know what? He's plus 260. Are you kidding me? Cooper Kupp is the first touchdown scorer almost every time. You get long touchdowns, you get short touchdowns, and you can quadruple team him all you want, Breach. The 49ers tried to do it last week. He still got open. They use him in those little screen opportunities. Stafford loves going to Kupp. I think Kupp at plus 260 is fantastic value to be first Rams touchdown scorer. What about a Rams player to win MVP, Wilson?
You mentioned Odell as potentially scoring the first touchdown. I pulled the breach there, said potentially. And I'm going to go with Odell to win MVP, plus 1,600. We know what he can do when he's inspired. If they find a way, to shut down Cooper Kupp, then perhaps Odell, the door will open for him. And Breach, I can't imagine at plus 1,600 you have a more lucrative bet.
You know what? I am going to go the defensive side of the ball. That's where I think all the value is, because if the Rams win this game, it is going to be because they sacked Joe Burrow 12 times. And who is going to destroy the Rams or the Bengals offensive line more than a guy who was literally biologically designed to destroy offensive lines? And that is Aaron Donald. And his odds are plus 1,800. You give me 18-1 that the best defensive player possibly in NFL history can't get to Joe Burrow? I think he could get 3 or 4 sacks in this game. Aaron Donald wins MVP, and you cash your 18-1 bet.
I actually like another defensive player as well. I don't think Donald's a bad pick. If he wreaks havoc, the voters will want to go his direction. But the other guy, look at that, Super Bowl 50 right here, baby. Von Miller was the MVP of Super Bowl 50. He's already won it once. He knows how to wreak havoc. He's a free agent this offseason. If he destroys Joe Burrow in this Super Bowl and wins Super Bowl MVP, he's going to get another massive contract this offseason after sort of looking like he was trailing off in his career. I think Von Miller, especially with all the attention they'll pay to Aaron Donald on the inside, can be a difference maker on the edge. Love Von Miller at the 40-1. I think that's a pretty good value.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.